Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome back to Blu-Roy Movies. How are we all doing? Hope everybody's all right. It's Sunday morning and tell you what, I was piddling it down 10 minutes ago, but now it's lovely and sunny. So the sun is shining on the blue righteousness. What sort of word's that? So yes, time for the weekly watches, and we've got 10 films to discuss this week. Don't quite know how that happened because I didn't think I'd have much time for films this week, but we got 10. It's funny how it works out. Might not have so much this week because I've got quite a busy week, but we'll see how it goes. So, anyway, let's get into it. Right, we kicked off the week with Now Voyager from 1942, directed by Irving Rapper, starring Betty Davis, Paul Henreid, Claude Rains, who I love as the Invisible Man, Gladys Cooper, amongst others. And yeah, regular viewers to the channel know that I do love me Betty Davis films, and this one is maybe one of her most revered films. Very good reviews. Everybody seems to like it, but I struggled with it. It wasn't for me. And yeah, surprised me a lot because I was expecting to really enjoy it. But I've said before, I think Davis, she's really good when she played characters with a bit of devil to them, a bit of evilness in them, because she was that sort of person, and some say in real life. And yeah, this film, her character was too nice in it. I just couldn't get on board. It was pretty sentimental, which again, regular viewers will know that's not my bag per se. But it's your classic ugly duckling turned beautiful swan scenario. Maybe Hollywood's first case of stick a pair of glasses on a beautiful woman and pretend they're ugly until she takes them off and can see miraculously all of a sudden. Yeah, Betty Davis. She's brought up with her mother, and her mother's actually the evil character in this. Her mother degrades her all the time, keeps her downtrodden, won't let her go out with boys or men, because I think she's actually quite old and spinsterish in it, and basically just keeps her housebound, keeps her close to her side, keeps an eye on her. This leads to Betty Davis having a mental breakdown, and she's sent to this sanitarium recovery place to try and get over it. This then she discovers beauty herself. Like, she was portrayed to be frumpy and fat, but she wasn't. They just put an old baggy dress on her, I think. And yeah, she turns into the beautiful swan and falls for the doctor, who in turn, his daughter is having similar sort of confidence issues, mental issues, and she helps the daughter around with those problems too. Yeah, that's about it in a nutshell. Like I say, wasn't for me. Very sentimental. The mother, who was played by Gladys Cooper, she was a horrible character. She played it really well. I think she was the best character in it. Yeah, I don't think I'd go back to one, but one that I'll keep in the Betty Davis collection, obviously, because I've got quite a lot of her films now. Yeah, average way to start the week. Well, we followed that one up with a film that I enjoyed infinitely more than Now Voyager. A rewatch of The Guns of Navarone from 1961, directed by J. Lee Thompson, and an all star cast: Gregory Peck, David Niven, Anthony Quinn, Anthony Quayle, I always get them two mixed up, Stanley Baker, Richard Harris. Yeah, fantastic cast for a fantastic film. Winner Best Effects in the 1961 Oscars, and nominated for six others, including Best Picture. And you can see why. This is just the film that we don't get made anymore, which, much to the shame, because they're fantastic action war adventures. Your typical Sunday afternoon, you've been to the pub, you've had a couple of pints, you've got home, the wife's made you your Sunday dinner, you're full and content, you've had your spotted dick, and it's time to stick on a film, and the Guns and Navarone is that film on a Sunday. Yeah, brilliant, brilliant stuff. It's all about these guys. They've got to take out these two massive guns stuck by a Greek island. These guns have got all these Allied soldiers pinned down that are trying to evacuate an island, and it's up to Gregory Peck and his team to knock out the guns so they can get the ships in to rescue them. They pick Gregory Peck to do the mission because the only way to get to the guns that isn't crawling with Germans is up a sheer cliff face that is supposed to be impossible to climb, and Peck is an expert climber, and he has to do it in the dark as well. Yeah, like I say, just great action adventure that keeps you on the edge of your seat at all times. The Germans always seem to be one step ahead of them, so they're pretty sure there's a rat in the camp. You've got this side story going as well where Anthony Quinn and Gregory Peck are supposedly colleagues, but something's happened in the past where, because of Gregory Peck being a bit lenient towards Germans than he should have been, Anthony Quinn's wife and children got killed by the Germans, and he's vowed to kill Peck after the war, after they've won the war together. So they've got this sort of relationship where, as fighters, they respect each other, but Quinn's got this thing going on that Peck was responsible for the death of his family, so Peck's sort of always watching his back. And you've got David Niven, who was brilliant as the demolition expert who's not there for glory. He's got this bit of sarcastic, sardonic side to him. Yeah, I think he was the best character. Just, as I say, I've said it a few times now, but I won't apologise for it. Brilliant, brilliant action adventure. And after that, next was Baraka from 1992, directed by Ron Frick, with no actors in whatsoever because it's a documentary. Well, can you call it a documentary? There's no dialogue, no voiceover in it, so whether it classes as a documentary, I don't know. It's purely cinematic vision with a score over the top of it. And let me read the top, so maybe this will best describe it to you. In the ancient Sufi language, Baraka translates as the thread that weaves life together. In the pantheon of modern cinema, it remains one of the most unique and acclaimed motion and picture events in our time. Shot in breathtaking 70mm in 24 countries in 6 continents, Baraka is a transcendent global tour that explores the sights and sounds of the human condition like nothing you've ever seen or felt before, and that's very true. These are the wonders of the world without words, viewed through men and nature's own prisms of symmetry, savage, chaos, and harmony. And that sums it up. It's absolutely wonderful. It looks fantastic. I think they said they shot it on, well, I was reading they shot it on 8K in 1992, so I don't know how that works. I'm not like the most technical person. If this ever got a 4K upgrade, I'd be definitely pre-ordering it because it's maybe the best looking Blu-ray I've ever seen in my life. If you put it on your player and told somebody it was 4K, they certainly wouldn't argue with you. Like it said on the back, a trip round every different country, every continent, looking at the ways of lives. You've got things like African tribes, you've got Indian people living on banks of the Ganges, they're washing in the Ganges, they're doing their vegetables in the Ganges. They're even got funeral pyres on the banks of the Ganges, killing their dead as people are like preparing their vegetables. It really stuff that you haven't seen before. There's things like Asian cigarette company, and you've never seen so many people working in this factory making cigarettes. It's absolutely mind blowing. A factory that's sexing chicks and seeing them get thrown about. Yeah, there's stuff that'll make your heart warm. There's stuff that will make you angry, make you sad, just all the gamut of emotions, and you just watch it. You don't have to think. Well, I'll say you don't have to think too hard about it, but it will trigger your thought process of what you're watching and just letting it sink in. Highly, highly recommend this. Uh, this is my second time viewing, and it just as good as the first time. There's a sequel that I haven't seen yet that I own called Samsara, I believe. Uh, 5 stars on Letterboxd, which is rare for me. I don't do many 5 stars, but this definitely would. Just a wonderful experience. I don't think the Blu-ray is too expensive, so I just urge you to maybe go on eBay and see how much you can grab a copy for, and you'll thank me later. Yeah, Baraka. Now, when I picked up One Life about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had quite a few comments telling me to get onto it and how good it is. So always take heed of my subscribers. I stuck it in the player and gave it a go. Yeah, One Life 2023, directed by James Hawes, starring Anthony Hopkins, Johnny Flynn, Jonathan Pryce, and Helena Bonham Carter. And I tell you what, subscribers, you are the best subscribers because this was a great film. Really enjoyed it. Anthony Hopkins, he's an elderly gentleman and he's looking back on his life. So you get flashbacks of his younger life, of himself being played by Johnny Flynn, and Helena Bonham Carter is his younger self's mother, which I thought she's far too glamorous to be this lad's mother. But he goes over to Prague in the 30s, prior to World War II really kicking off to its full extent, and he sees all the refugees fleeing these Eastern European countries to Prague, all the Jewish people in fear of their lives, trying to escape Nazi Germany and what they're going to be put through. Based on a true story, this is disturbed at what young Anthony Hopkins sees. He arranges that he'll get them, the children of these people, back to the UK, where he can find them foster parents till supposedly after the war is finished, but not many of them had parents to go back to after the war. And it's about him raising funds to get the kids into England, get them to save, get them with caring families so that they can survive the war. All the rigmarole that went back and forwards with that, the funding, the visas, the physical laying on trains, because this guy got hundreds and hundreds, I think it's 600 and something in the end, of these kids out of Prague into safety. And just, it says genuinely uplifted on there. It is an uplifting tale. And then it tells the story. Then it goes back to his elder life with Hopkins being an old man. And it's based in the 80s, and he appears on the British television programme That's Life with Esther Ransom, which I remember as a precursor to going to school on a Monday morning, so I wasn't a fan of the programme. It was an odd programme, a sort of magazine type programme that will feature stuff like carrots with penises and a dog that could say sausages, no less. But it also had serious stories, and they told the story of this guy who rescued this kid and had him sitting in the audience, and unbeknown to him were the kids around him that he'd saved. And when she said, Esther Ransom, does anybody know this guy, and did he help any of you in the audience? They all stuck his hand up, and I've got a reputation amongst my peers to be pretty heartless. In fact, some of them call me the Tin Man, which is totally unfounded, I believe, because they reckon I've not got a heart. But this started the emotions a bit when that bit happened. Yeah, I must admit I did well up a little bit. So maybe the Tin Man's on the turn. Yeah, really good film, and thanks again, subscribers, for recommending it for me. And Bruce, I listened to you guys, and I got it stuck on, and I really enjoyed it. Thanks very much. One life. Next up, an absolute Stone Cold Steve Austin classic, 1995's Braveheart, starring and directed by Mel Gibson, with Catherine McCormack, Sophie Marceau, Patrick McGowan, Brendan Gleeson, James Cosmo. Another film with another stacked cast even. What a film! I love Braveheart. It's first time I've seen it in 4K. All about the struggles of William Wallace, and I know it's supposed to be totally not what happened historically, but you know what? I don't really know the full story of it. I'm pretty ignorant to the actual history side of it, so that side of it doesn't worry me. I just sit back and enjoy the ride of William Wallace, and how the English kill his wife, his fledgling wife, that he's had to marry in secret because the English have introduced lords to Scotland to have the right to have nuptial ways with new brides on their wedding night. That's quite a perk of the job, isn't it? So Gibson marries his sweetheart, played by McCormack, on the quiet, but it doesn't end up well, and she ends up with her throat slit by this horrible English lord, and it's him then taking his ire out on the English, leading this different clans together in this war against the English. They really portray the English in a poor way, don't they? Poor as English, eh? We're lovable kind of guys. Looked good in 4K, brilliant characters, brilliant actions. What the battle scenes are absolutely incredible. They never get old. Good castle siege. I do like a castle siege in a film. I don't know why. Any recommendations for good castle siege films? Yeah, let me know down below. We've got to let the Scottish have their day, haven't we? We've got to live in harmony. And congratulations to Scotland to qualifying for the World Cup, the first time since 1998. We've all been here waiting for you, getting very old in the process. I'm only kidding. Well done. Yeah, Braveheart. Love Braveheart. Never gets old. Next up, Roman Holiday from 1953 with William Wyler, starring Gregory Peck. So the second appearance of Gregory Peck and Audrey Hepburn. Now, I've seen a couple of William Wyler films recently and really like him, but never seen this one before. One of his most revered films as well. And I think the reason is I don't like my love sentimental films. I think that one reason has put me off, and a silly reason, because this film was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, not sentimental at all. It's got some good funny moments. It's got some good action. It's got everything going for it, really. Audrey Hepburn plays this princess in Rome, and you never think about it, actually, like she's going through stress and tiredness because her schedule is very hectic. She's up at the crack of dawn meeting different dignitaries and going around visiting different people, and it's an all-day job, really. It's quite full-time work by the looks of it, and she's exhausted, so she wants a break from it, but as you can imagine, as a royal princess, She's kept under very close observation by the staff and other family members. And one day they give her some sleeping pills, but she managed to fight off the effect of them and decides she's going to sneak out of this very austere royal palace that she lives in and go and live life a little bit. But the sleeping pills kick in and she falls asleep on this bench where journalist Gregory Peck discovers her. So he tries and wakes her up and does the noble thing of get her in a taxi and try and get her home, but she's so far gone with the sleeping tablets and he thinks her drunk that he ends up taking her back to his apartment because and it's an honourable thing in an honourable way because she doesn't know where she is, she didn't know who she is. So he gets her back to his apartment and lets her sleep it off. By the next day, she's hit the headlines. Not that she's missing, because the family cover up that she's missing, but they put out this story that she's suddenly taken this sudden illness and she's got to cancel all her engagements. Peck then realises who he's got there in his possession, and she's supposed to be this famous princess, but nobody seems to realise who she is, which is a bit daft. So the good newspaper man that he is realises that there's a story in this for him. It could be the break of his lifetime. He pretends that he hasn't recognised her and pretends to do a story and sell it to the highest bidder. He then gets his photographer mate on board with her and they take her around Rome and he's taking slide pictures of her. Just basically planning this story to make his fortune. And then the inevitable happens. It's Hollywood. They fall in love. And they have some really high jinks. The famous scene on the Lambretta, absolutely brilliant. At one stage, Hepburn's character ends up riding it, doing the driving, and she's no clue. She's shouted lies. She's no idea what she's doing, and hijinks ensue as they narrowly crash and narrowly miss people. They end up in fist fights with these security guys that have been sent out to find her. And then she finds out, obviously, that he's a journalist, and you can imagine the way it goes. Yeah, but really, really good fun. And if you want to see 6'3" of Gregory Peck trying to get out one of them small Fiat cars, which is hilarious. Yes, the film for you. Yeah, Roman Holiday. Can't believe it took me this amount of years to watch it, and definitely be looking at trying to upgrade this DVD copy. Yeah, brilliant film. Another 5-star actually on Letterboxd, I think. And then it was from 2003, Lara Croft, the second film. Watched the first one last week, so I thought I'd watch The Cradle of Life 2. This one, Jan de Bont directed, starring obviously Angelina Jolie, Gerard Butler, Kieran Hines, a great bad guy, Kieran Hines, Chris Barry, Noah Taylor, Jimon Houssel, Till Schweiger, Hugo Stigler from Inglourious Bastards, and yeah, just pretty much like the first thing, just a mindless adventure that's a lot of fun. This one is about there's a volcanic explosion which exposed this orb that is the key to a map to Pandora's box, and if Pandora's box is opened, bad things are going to happen. Kieran Hines, the bad guy, there's always a rival archaeologist type guy in these types of films, and in this one it's Kieran Hines. He's in charge of the opposite expedition to open the box so that he can sell it on to bad guys for lots of money. It's always about money, isn't it? Angelina Jolie, who gets the help of Gerard Butler, who she manages to get out of prison, to give her a hand, and they've had this previous relationship. He's a bit double-edged. You can't tell which side of the coin he's on, whether he's for the good guys or the bad guys. Yeah, good, solid action. I enjoy these films. They're not everybody's cup of tea, but for me, it feels 90 minutes or so of entertainment, which is what you want from a film at the end of the day, isn't it? Tomb Raider, the cradle of life. I'll tell you one thing, one accusation you can't level at me is that I watch all the same sorts of films, is it? Because next up was The Strangers from 2008, directed by Brian Bertino, starring Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman. A film I'd never seen before, and I won't say I enjoyed it because that's not the right word, but a film I enjoyed, but got a lot out of it. God, this was creepy stuff. Terrifying, it says. Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman. Oh, I watched something else the other day. What was it? Underworld. Yeah, he was the sort of like cross werewolf, cross vampire in Underworld, not Wonderworld. That's probably a different film altogether. Strangers, very, very good, very well made. Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman are this couple, and they've been out to a function, I think it's a wedding, and Scott Speedman wanted to ask Liv Tyler to marry him, but it didn't go well. I think she said no. So they sort of get back to this cottage they've rented in the middle of nowhere, and they've had a bad night, and it's very frosty between them. And then somebody knocks on the door. Scott Speedman goes and answers it, and this female voice comes through asking for somebody, and he explains that they've got the wrong house and tells her to sling her up, basically. So then the two proceed to talk things over, try and patch up their differences, and Liv Tyler has run out of cigarettes, so Scott decides to go out in the car and buy some. Then the bangings and knockings at the door continue, and it becomes apparent there's other people in the house because there's noises from all over the house. And I tell you what, I've just bought myself a new pair of headphones. I splashed out a bit and bought an expensive pair. Got a good price on them, actually. They're in the sale, and they're so good. You put them on and it's surround all round you, and the bangings and knockings from all around the house, it terrified me. It sounded like there's somebody behind me, somebody over there, and I was watching it in the dark. I had to take my headphones off and just play the audio through the television. It terrified me that much. I couldn't cope with it. I never normally get like that with films, but I had to whack off the headphones. And then these three, Scott Speedman comes back, and they proceed to get terrified by these three masked individuals, and they were really creepy. I think you couldn't see their face or their emotions, just like tips you over the edge. Very violent, as you must expect. Very intimidating characters that leaves you on the edge of your seat, hoping for the best for these characters. Yeah, really, really good stuff. And I believe there's a sequel. Is it quite new? It's passed me by, I believe. And is it worth watching? Again, let me know down below. But yeah, really enjoyed The Strangers, if indeed enjoyed is the correct word. Next up, with some terrible artwork. Look at the state of that. I thought it might be just on the slip, but nah, it's the same inside. That's pretty awful, and I don't like that whatsoever. King Kong, the 2005 Peter Jackson film. Naomi Watts, Adrian Brody, Jack Black. I'm not a fan of Jack Black, I'm sorry. Andy Serkis, Jamie Bell, Kyle Chandler, Colin Hanks, brother of Tom. And for me, that's just too long. It's too long. Third out of the King Kong films. I'm definitely 33 first, 76 second. Then this. Struggled to get through. I hadn't seen it for years. I think the last time I watched it with my lad when he was about 10, and like he's 25 now. I had to think about that. Sorry, Nathan, if you're watching. I like the bit where they go into the island, get to know the characters on the ship and that. I like when they are back in New York and King Kong's trashing New York, because That's the best part of an action film for, well, these monster films where they're trashing cities. But it's the stuff on the island, it just drags and drags and drags. They keep fighting bad computer animated creature after bad computer animated creature, and it wears thin very quickly. And oh god, I was almost falling asleep at one stage. It just gets very boring very quickly in the middle section of it. If they'd have halved, maybe thirded, is that a word? I think it would have worked quite well for the film. If this was like 2 hours 15 minutes, it's a decent film. But at 3 hours 10, and I went for the shorter version. I think there's a 3 hour 20 something version on this disc as well, which God knows that would be a slog. It would have been a hell of a lot better film, just better edited. Do like Naomi Watts, she's a good scream queen type. Like Jack Black, no, he's not for me. I like Kyle Chandler actually as the action star of the film, who was by far in real life anything but the action star in real life, is quite cowardly and self-centered. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. But I can't see myself going back to it for probably at least another 15 years after the 15 years before King Kong. And we rounded it off with Enid from 2009, directed by James Hawes, which is the only reason I watched this, because when I was looking at James Hawes' career after watching his One Life, I noticed that he also directed this film, which I had a DVD copy of and never seen. And yeah, both films has impressed me so far. Also with Helena Bonham Carter as in One Life, so must be an actress he likes using, and why not? She's very, very good. Matthew McFadden, Dennis Lawson, all about the lives and loves of Enid Blyton, the world famous English children's author. And I tell you what, I hope that for cinematic purposes they overplayed it, because Enid Blyton was we've all grown up with her books, and they portray her as a horrible, horrible woman. I just hope that she's not as bad, or she was as bad as portrayed in this, and it's not that accurate, because it rather shatters illusions of what you think of people. Bonham Carter is brilliant in it, but yeah, she's really, really horrible. She came from a broken home. A father who she idolised was in fact a womanizer who treated the mother very badly, and when the father goes off with another woman when Blyton's in her teens, uh, Blyton leaves home with not a second thought for what it'll do to the mother or the brother and sister who she never had any contact again then for years and years, and didn't attempt to talk to them or anything. Uh, then she marries her publisher, played by McFadden, and that turns into quite a loveless marriage, because Blyton, she's only interested in her books. They have a couple of kids in that Blyton's not interested in the slightest. She gets staff to look after them and makes the children feel as if they're very privileged if she reads to them for half an hour at night. Yeah, totally had nothing to do with her kids. In fact, she'd run a competition for some of the kids that read her books and have parties for them kids round her house and play games with them and have picnics with them, whilst the own kids were forced to go and wait upstairs for it to be all over. So, yeah, that marriage ends because she's having an affair with this guy here, so she then enters another relationship, and he doesn't want anything to do with the kids. Although they're portrayed as being this big happy family, they have newsreels around showing them all having family time together. But as soon as they stop rolling, it's back to the nannies and kids. Yeah, just what a self-centered, horrible woman she was, if this film's anything to be believed. Very, very well filmed, very interesting film, but ultimately depressing, because that's how this great British woman apparently was. Yeah, enjoyed that film a lot, though. Definitely one to keep in the collection. Don't know whether there's a Blu-ray, actually. I might have to investigate that. Enid, yeah, recommend it. I reckon that probably up Olive Street, actually. Definitely one for him. So that's it, guys. That's 10 films got through. We got there. I think it's gone on a bit, actually, so I'm going to cobble it all together now and apologise in advance that I think this is going to be quite a long video. Thanks for watching, as always. Really do appreciate. Always love your comments. The comments just get better and better and more enjoyable for myself. Give us a thumbs up and all that jazz, because they reckon it helps. Like, I'm a technophobe, but if they say it does, it does. Catch you all later. Ta-ra.